Good morning, you guys. Okay, I wanted to jump on here before I have painters come to finish my house. That's why I have all of this stuff going on here. It's been a wild one, you guys. There's so much energy that is going on in the sky, and I want to talk about it for this week. So, before I get into anything, let's talk a little bit about the Jupiter retrograde that happened on the 30th, I believe. Um, or no, it was whenever the new moon was happening that it turned retrograde. So we're all still feeling this new moon energy in Leo. And so I want to talk about that and the Jupiter retrograde that is going on now as a way to really kind of catapult us into the energetics of this week and this month. So, with that Leo moon, we're still feeling it until the full moon. And with Leo, it's really about having self focus. And it's where we find our creative heart space. And so, this really goes into the energetics leading up until the full moon of next week. We had this happen, and then we had Jupiter station and then go retrograde. And with Jupiter retrograde, that's very much about how you're responding to your instincts. Jupiter is in Aries, and Jupiter is the teacher, or it's like the guru in astrology. And it expands. It expands our minds and our spiritual world. And so with Jupiter turning retrograde, it's an outer planet. And so we know with an outer planet that any of the outer planets, Pluto, which it's in retrograde right now, Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, and Jupiter, when they turn retro, they're in retro for a while. And this is really an integration point whenever retrogrades occur as a way for us to integrate the archetypal dynamics that are coming up for us individually and collectively that is symbolized within the planet that has gone retro. And so with Jupiter here, some of us, have been feeling like Jupiter and Aries, there's so much. We're going, 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 going. And with this retrograde, I think that it helps slow things down so that way we can really integrate the lessons and the teachings that we've been learning about these things. Jupiter here, when we had the new moon in Leo and how we're feeling this is a way for us to really get connected with what sparks joy in our life. So the way I see this month and this week is a lot of us are going to be aligning ourselves with things that give us purpose and meaning, and where we can emotionally connect to the work that we're doing. So it's our passions and our purpose. And so if there's anyone who has been thinking about doing something different for their career, their job, this is a time that this could come up. And when we're looking at Jupiter here, it's in Aries. And so we need to look at Mars and see what Mars is doing because it's ruling that Jupiter. And Mars is, it just conjunct the North Node in Taurus, and it just conjunct the Uranus in Taurus. And we have this beautiful triple conjunction. And this triple conjunction here really speaks of the Taurian archetype of what does give you value and meaning. What are your values? What helps emotionally fill your cup up in regards to your soul's desires and purpose in the world? Since it conjunct Uranus, there can be downloads of information, divine guidance about how we go about exercising these and how we go about putting into motion what we're wanting to do on a personal level that's more fulfilling, that we do have passion. Jupiter retrograde also is really getting us to, it's Aries. It wants us to not be reactive and it wants us to be responsive. It's this kind of Aries archetype. So if we're expanding or we're having downloads of information, well, then we need to pause for a second before we just react. We need to be thoughtful about the things that we are trying to do here in this world to align ourselves and to get us back in balance. So are you being thoughtful with your intentions? Are you able to respond in an authentic way for yourself that is true for you? On August 1st, we had that triple conjunction that happened in the sign of Taurus. And this really, really, really kind of sets the stage for this month. Taurus is not just about our personal relationship with ourself. It's also about listening, the function of being able to listen to oneself, to our inner voice. And so whatever it is that comes up for you, that's divinely inspired, and it has this kind of Taurian and Uranian energy kind of seeding thoughts to you. Be responsive, don't be reactive. Take a minute to think about how you want to actualize whatever's coming up for you. Is there something that you're wanting to switch with your career? Is there something that you want to switch up within your relationships that you have with others, as a way to find balance and alignment within yourself of meeting your own needs and balancing with what gives you meaning and purpose. So on the 1st, this was all in a new phase aspect, and that is what it means. It's a new phase, a new cycle coming up for all of us as a way to work through these things, as a way to align ourselves with our specific purpose here in this lifetime. Another thing to mention about this Taurus triple conjunction that happened on the 1st was it's Taurus. So that's Gaia, that's Earth, that's land. And Uranus and Mars meeting up a lot of times, that can be really jolting. And we can see that there are, new bills that are being created to help work with the ecosystem, to help us be able to, hopefully undo some of the damage that we've been creating living on Earth by the abuse of natural resources. On a collective level, we can see, what's happening. We're all in a heat wave. We've been in a heat wave. Even other parts of the country are in a heat wave. And we can really see how the destruction of our of Earth and of our natural resources has played a part in this. And so this Uranus conjunction to the North Node and to Mars really is about us aligning ourselves, in the collective as a way to bring back the ecosystem into balance. And so there are people who are really speaking out about this. It's do or die time, it kind of feels like, because there's so much going on with humanity and how we treat this world that we live in. So there's lots of things coming up. If you watch the news, you can see these things. This is all kind of symbolizes, Taurus's money. It is the resources that are intrinsic to us that we carry here in, and then it's the resources that the earth provides us with. And so this is really asking all of us to get into an alignment with a symbiotic relationship with this earth that we live on. And it's so beautiful. We want to treat it in the way that it should be treated. And that is as something that helps provide and helps us to survive. These are all Taurus archetypes. You can also see lots of times with Taurus, there is if this is the earth, it's Gaia, it's also land. And Uranus and Mars, a lot of times when you look back in history and the cycles of this, you can see where there has been wars that have broke out over land. And so we've all been seeing that with Russia and oh my gosh, I can't think. But with Russia and what's going on with that war. But this week, as of yesterday, I believe, which was the 2nd, we saw that China and Taiwan are really, things are going wonky there, and it's over, the land. And I know that Pelosi's over in Taiwan, and that China is taking it as they're taking it personal. And so it'll be interesting to watch how that plays out. But these are all of these Taurus dynamics. If something happens with China and Taiwan, then that will create issues for everyone globally, just because, we all do trade. We do foreign trade with people and different countries. And so this is something for us to all be looking at. Bernie Sanders was talking about, the new bill that is wanting to be passed. And if you haven't checked it out, I feel like those of you who are interested in politics should. I kind of feel, in my opinion, that people who even aren't should check it out, just because you live here. We all live here. It's important for us to know what's going on in regards to our natural resources and how our government is choosing to utilize them or to commodify them. And so we all should have a say in this. So everything that's coming up right now with the triple conjunction in the sign of Taurus, it is ruled by that Venus, and Venus is in Cancer. And so this is really about all of us getting into this alignment with what gives us meaning and value and purpose. I want to look at my note. So Venus is sextiling the triple conjunction. And this is something that we're going to be feeling for the next few weeks, Venus is moving out of that, but it's something that will still be felt. It's kind of this trigger point of this. It is really stating for us to get back into alignment with our values and needs, and to be able to take from the Taurian side what gifts we all come in here with, and use it as a way to fulfill oneself, not to self-identify, but to bring into alignment better self-esteem and harmony and balance, so that way we can do the work that we need to do while we're here. So I would ask yourself, where do you need to come into balance and able to do that and able to actualize that? Later on in the week, Mars squares Saturn, and this is really kind of like this can be jolting a little bit, because it's a call to action, and it's with Saturn. So it's the foundation that you've been laying. Is it stable? Is it a way that can you use it as a stepping stone? Are you going to be able to build upon that? And this square from Mars to Saturn is really helping all of us. It's that whole alignment dance. I'm going to say this so much because this is what this week is really about. It's building on top of one another. So it's like all of us getting ourselves in balance, in alignment, so that way we can have a firmer foundation to build off of, to build from, that's stable and secure and healthy, and one that's not going to crumble if we start moving, and trying to make these moves. And so there can be a aha moment that happens on the 7th for all of us, where we get to check and see, is this foundation that I'm building, is it sturdy? Is it shaky? Is it more like gravel? Or, am I going to slide around on here? Or am I going to be able to stand in balance on top of this foundation while I build up from it? Venus and Neptune are going to be trining, and so that's like a healing and washing and cleansing over. So if there's been things going on personally for you, this will really help you dive into the emotional body of all of this. It will help you really start to evolve out of these inner dynamics that may be being triggered by external dynamics. This is a really healing type of aspect that's going on. It's so that we can, emotionally develop and come into balance and learn what peace is. And it will, with Neptune, it's nebulous. It wants to dissolve the barriers that are blocking us from being able to get into our heart space, being able to evolve through our emotional body. I say this so often on here. We don't evolve through our psychology or our analytical mind. We evolve through our emotions. So the things that are coming up, if there's a source of contention, this is a day that will really help us break open and kind of wash over us in order to transmute that energy as a way to cleanse and to get in balance and in harmony. This is also a day that truth can be expressed if you're looking for it or if you're seeking it. And for others, they can stay kind of in disillusionment. And so that's why it's really important to be working consciously with all of this content that's coming up. Each thing this month is going to be a stepping stone as a way to further the collective, to get the collected in line with natural values. So there are things that can come up that feel really scary or jolting for some of us, or in the collective, wars breaking out, heat waves, gas prices going up, recessions, not being able to, get the things that we need because they're on back order or whatever, because there's supply shortages. And it is frustrating, but this is a time where, as the collective, it's trying to unify in a way where we can get the values back on track that are in alignment with natural law. So there's a lot that is coming up. If you have something that you've been wanting to do, maybe you want to teach, maybe you want to leave your job and you want to be creative, or feel like you can be more creative because you feel like you're stagnating in that job. Maybe there's something that's coming up for you that's really about your heart's desires, that really speaks to you, and it's a way for you to enact survival because you can catapult off of that because it's more in resonance with who you are on a soul level. If these are the things that have been kind of matriculating around in your mind, with Uranus, there's almost like these thoughts get seeded to us. And so this is whenever you should be listening to those. And it's that Jupiter retrograde, like I said, there is wisdom that is coming to us from our intuition and from our subconscious on a soul level with everything that's playing out in the sky. You want to listen to that. You want to pay attention to that. Those are little nuggets that are going to help you further your development and help get you in alignment with what it is that we're all supposed to be doing here. And so, this is a time where you can be making moves and able to actualize this, but we need to continue to be thoughtful about it. And let me check and see if there's anything else. No, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about for this week. I don't think I'm going to write a written report this week just because there's a lot of Uranian energy going on. I've had electrical issues, I'm having house painting, and I got to get my kids ready for school. So, um, if you want, you can always reach out to me on Facebook or on Instagram at Nonconformist Conscience. I also have my website if you want to book an appointment. And I just want all of us to really tap into our inner voice and see what is coming up as a way to really align and balance us. I know I sound like a broken record player, but this is what this energy is. It's a shift. It is to help all of us. And it's to further the collective. It's Uranian energy, and it's survival and what gives meaning and purpose and value for all of us. Um, and a quick note, since that triple conjunction's ruled by that Venus in Cancer, it's about how can you nurture yourself? How can you fulfill yourself? How can you validate yourself? And I think the key here is to listen to oneself and to be thoughtful about how to create the action that is necessary in order to fulfill what is coming up for all of us. So I hope you guys all have a great week. I love you all, and I will talk to you soon.